Hey, second graders, it's Mr. Marshall at Stony Lane. I'm coming to you today because I know that you're starting to do a study of how books can be your teachers, how you can learn stuff about the world by reading it in books. Okay. And, when you were little, you probably learned in nonfiction, maybe in first grade, that there are parts of books that we call text features. Do you remember that? So, text features means that there's different parts of a nonfiction book that you can know, oh, this is the table of contents, or oh, this is something called a heading, right? Or oh, this is something called an index in the back of the book, or oh, this is a glossary that tells me the meanings of words. Well, today, what I want to teach you is how you can be like a big reader now and not just like name where the table of contents is, but to use these different text features before you start reading to start thinking already. Because we think a lot when we read nonfiction, don't we? But we also want to think before we start reading. Okay, so let's try some of that out right now. Okay, so here's a nonfiction book that I'm reading, and it's about elephants. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some of these text features and I'm going to look at them closely and I'm going to start thinking right away before I even read the book. Okay? So let's take a look. So one text feature is the cover and the title, right? And so I'm going to look closely at the cover and the title. It's called Great Migrations Elephants. So I know that this book is going to teach me a lot about elephants, right? I know that it's about elephants, but this other part called Great Migrations means that it's going to be about kind of migrations are like when animals move from place to place. So I'm going to write down here that this book is about elephants and maybe how they move. I might be right. I might be wrong. I might be kind of right. But I'm going to put that right here so that I can think about that while I'm thinking about the cover. Okay, let's keep going. So here we go. Um, Here is the table of contents, right? And I see that there's lots of chapters inside this book, aren't there? There's a whole lot of them. So I know that I'm going to be learning lots of different kinds of information. It's not just like an elephant's body and then an elephant's food and an elephant's home. There's lots of different topics. So I'm going to get my mind ready to think about lots of different things. So I'm going to write that on my post-it. I'm going to write lots of kinds of information. So I'm going to get my mind ready to really think about different things, not just focusing on one thing for a long time. So I wrote on my post-it lots of kinds of information. Okay, let's move on. Let's think about the chapter titles. So here, this chapter is called On the Move. On the Move. So I'm going to push myself to think about that title of On the Move and think, what could this part of the book mostly be about? Thinking that this part of the book is probably, well, I'm looking at the pictures too, and there's different kinds of animals. This one says, where is it? Wildebeest. Do you see that? This one says red crabs. This one, where is it? It says elephants. So I'm thinking this part of the book is going to be about how animals move. Animals move. So I'm going to expect for my brain to be thinking about how different kinds of animals move. Okay? So I'm putting that on the post-it there. So when I get to that page, I already have an idea of what I'm going to be thinking about. Okay? Let's read a little bit more. Oh, look, there's a map here. And on the map, here's Asia, here's Africa, and there's a couple things on Africa that are highlighted, right? There's a place called Mali, and there's a place called the Sahara Desert. So I'm thinking that this map means that these pages are going to be about where this animal, the elephant, because the picture's there, I'm pretty sure it's the elephant, where it lives. Okay, so I'm thinking about that diagram. Okay, so I'm going to think about Africa. I'm going to think about Mali. I'm going to expect to look for that word Mali and learn about that word Mali and how the elephant lives there. Right? Do you see what I'm doing? And so on my post-it, I put that down. Right? Let's do a little bit more pre-reading. Okay, so here is a page. Aw, this is called Baby Elephants. So when I get to this page, I can expect to think about what elephants are like when they're babies, right? And that's going to be a really cute chapter, probably. Baby elephants. So sometimes the words I write on the post it are just like the words in the title because there's not a lot of other ways to say it. Sometimes they're going to be a little different, like I did earlier. Let's do one more. One more. Here we go. Okay. Let's get to another new chapter. Okay. Let's find another new chapter. This one is called Elephant Emergency. Elephant emergency. What can that mean? Like emergency means like when an ambulance comes or something, right? Well, an ambulance comes when people are in trouble when they're sick and they need help. So that page is probably going to be about what happens when elephants are in trouble. Like what's something's wrong. So I'm going to put the word what's wrong on my post-it. Look at what's wrong. And I'm going to be thinking, I'm expecting to think about something that's wrong with these elephants. And maybe we'd be able to help them just like an ambulance would. Do you see what I'm doing? Do you see how I'm looking at all the parts or all the text features in this nonfiction book? And before I'm even reading my book, I'm thinking. I'm thinking about things that I'm going to expect when I start reading the words and the pictures together. Okay, that's something that you can do when you're trying to learn from your nonfiction book. You can do some pre reading the way that I did. So, why don't you try that on whatever book you're reading, even if it's not about elephants, whatever it's about? Try that out. See if it can get your mind going even before you begin reading. Try that out, and I'll see you next time.